Hey guys, welcome to Video Game Corner. It's me, Jason, and today I'm going to talk about this whole copyright stuff that's going around. I try to stay out. I tried to just stay out of it, and I didn't get in the whole Google Plus argument in the comment section. I just figured it was just comments, and it turns out it's really not that big a deal to me. There are some people I can't answer to. I can't reply to on the videos just because of the way it's set up, but oh well. I've been listening to a lot of information. I mean, watching a lot of videos on it, trying to get all the details. And it's kind of a sucky situation. I don't really know. Being that it's not like in full effect and it's just starting, I don't know what actually is gonna happen. None of my videos have been flagged. I don't have that many with game footage. I don't do a whole lot of it, and I usually only do old game footage. And as we know, the older it is, the less they care about it. But it doesn't mean it won't happen. Plus, I'm a very small channel at the moment, and you know I'm bottom of the totem pole, so they don't really care that much about me. They're looking at bigger guys, like everyone's talking about. I watched Angry Joe's rant, and God, the guy is just screaming at the camera, and it's just like, okay, he can scream if he wants. Boogie2988, he appealed to he tried to be more logical with it and appealed to the people's emotions, and I appreciate that a lot more than screaming and yelling. I'm not a screamer and yeller. I just don't feel the need to be like that. I also watched the Archfiend's take on it. It's interesting because he made a lot of sense, and he's right. And if you guys have seen his video about it, because he responds. I also watched my friend Ace Salieri, his take on it. I will say this, Eric. The whole thing, I know, Eric, he doesn't like Let's Plays. He thinks that they're lazy. And I'll tell you this, I do less work than a Let's Player when I do a video like this. But the whole thing is, it doesn't matter how hard or easy a video is. The fact is there a demand for it? Is there a demand for Let's Players? Obviously there is. Obviously that's what people want. I myself use Let's Plays as a walkthrough tool, mostly. I'm not really too much into sitting there listening to, watching the Let's Play. I like Let's Players. I prefer that if someone has a Let's Play channel that they do other stuff. I think that variety is definitely a good thing for any channel. And, at least, with your topics, you can't just talk about the same thing and do the same thing every time, because then it gets repetitive. I want to do more at the channel, and I try to do more at the channel. But sometimes we get a little stuck in doing things a certain way. But everybody keeps screaming about this whole copyright thing is fair use, fair use. They're reviewers. They're even people are even saying this isn't a real job. And, the whole term of a real job is like, it's like the whole thing is, that's like saying, someone's a real man because they have a lot of sex, or, someone's a loser if they sit at home on the weekends, but they're happy with their life. I mean, it's the same kind of argument. It's not a real job. It's like, a real job is whatever you make money doing. If you're a criminal stealing and you make money and don't get caught, that's your job. If you're a politician, that's your job. If you're working at a fast food place, that's your job. Any way you bring money in, it's your job. And it all goes. It's just like if you're on disability, it's your job in a way, because you can't work, so you have to get the money in. You're bringing money in. That's what you have to do, and you're working within your physical limits. And it's like, the thing is that, everybody's talking about, and the fact is, I'm going to get into what I think people should do and think, as to what the reality is. And I have my own opinion on it, and it is true that, on my opinion on the whole thing, is that people shouldn't put their stock in one thing ever. Even when I worked a regular job before I got sick, I was always thinking of other ways to make money. There was always more than one way to make money. That's just me, though. Not everybody thinks alike. If we all did, this would be a pretty boring world. I always did. I do YouTube because it helped me with my depression when I became disabled. And I was, having I was depressed a lot because it's a life-changing thing when you get so sick and you're sick all the time. And now that I'm feeling a lot better and I'm stable, I do YouTube because it helps keep me busy, because otherwise I have a lot of free time. So I do YouTube because it's fun. I don't care about making money. I mean, I've generated like $58 over the last year, and I haven't even got one check yet. I don't really care. It's kind of neat if I do, and if I get one, then I'll spend the money on something cool. But otherwise, I don't care. That's me. I don't do this for a living. I get my check from the government that helps me survive, and I try to get better. And hopefully, I'll get well enough one day to where I can go back to work. It'd be nice. And but I'm not there yet. And I do the reproductions for a little bit of side money. I don't make a ton of money making reproductions. I make just a few $100s. And I also have to be careful, because if I make too much money, then the government, I have to be careful, because they check on my PayPal records. So I can't make too much money. So when I don't overdo it. And plus, if I do it too much, I feel sick. As you guys have seen in the past, I don't, do too much. I always pull back and stop. But that's me. That's my personal thing. The whole thing is, people keep talking about fair use, and a lot of the arguments are correct. Fair use it has to do with for reviewing purposes. Yes, from a legal standpoint, these videos that are being flagged on YouTube, from a legal standpoint, these guys are in the right. Most of them, not every single one. I'm sure there's little technicalities, but fair use is fine. But what everybody keeps forgetting is that YouTube is a private company, or a traded company, but it's a company. Okay? That means it can do whatever it wants. YouTube doesn't have to give you money. YouTube doesn't have to put your videos up. YouTube can take your videos down for any reason. They don't even need to give you an explanation. It's their site. If you go on your own site and you put videos up with game footage, fine. Do it. You want to make reviews? Put it on your own site. Fine. You want to find a way to make money? Do it. Do it. And you probably won't be sued. That's between you and the courts and the lawyers. Let them, that's who has to sort it out. On YouTube, though, YouTube does what they do for whatever reason they want to do it. It's just, and we don't like it, and it's just, that's what they're going to do. They can do that. They can do whatever they want. Should they do it? No. They shouldn't do it. Because the game company shouldn't want this. YouTube shouldn't want this. It's all about the thing is, what can you do doesn't mean you should do it. Because something is illegal, should it be, it's like the whole thing is, I don't think people should, I don't think drugs should be illegal. I don't do drugs personally, illegal drugs. I don't do them personally, but I don't care if everyone else does it. And then everyone says, well, I had one guy tell me, if drugs were legal, people would be stealing for them. I was like, no, they wouldn't, because they would be legal and they could just go get them and they'd be at a reasonable price. It's the same thing with cigarettes and alcohol. Not so much cigarettes, but alcohol. People don't go and steal. I mean, you're going to have a case from time to time just because people steal. But it's like anything. The can as opposed to the should. YouTube can take the videos down. Should they? No, they shouldn't, because the game companies, do they own it, and can they have these things taken down from YouTube? I guess so, because it's happening. They can't take it down from your own site, because then that comes a whole legal issue. Then it's up to the court to decide whether or not if it's going to go that far. But can they have YouTube? Can they buddy up with YouTube and say, hey, take those videos down? YouTube says, okay, I'll do it. It's my site. I don't want them on there. I don't want to take the chance. I don't want the hassle of being sued. That's fine too. And they can do it. All these guys that are complaining, that mostly it's affecting the people that make money off of these types of videos, and they're upset, and I get it. They are upset, and they do work, and they should be paid for it. But they've chosen a site that can take that away from them. And is it very smart? Maybe, maybe not. It's a gamble. I don't think it's necessarily stupid, but I don't think it's necessarily the best idea. YouTube says we'll pay you, we'll let you monetize your videos, and we will give you money. YouTube says we'll do it, but you gotta, follow the rules. Now, here's the other thing. It's not right of YouTube to let these videos go on and then all of a sudden, well, now you can't. That sucks. That's not right. But right and wrong doesn't always matter when it comes to can and can't, as we all know in our lives. And that's what it's all boiling down to. It's the can and can't. What they can and can't do. And they can take the videos down. But at the same time, for those people who are saying we should all just shut up and just get used to it, as long as we can keep making videos and arguing the case, I think we should. Because we can appeal to these people. We can try. And hopefully someone will listen and say, everybody's upset. Maybe we should listen to them. Maybe we should try to find another way of doing this. Maybe there's a demand for Let's Play. There is a demand for Let's Plays. People make them for a reason. They don't just make them and then nobody watches them. People watch these things. Maybe not as much as some other type as a review, maybe. I don't know. But people make them because people watch them. There's a demand somewhere. Even if it's a small demand, people watch them. And that's what, these guys wouldn't keep making them if they got 0 views every time. They would be like, man, no one's even watched this. Why am I wasting my time? But that's not the case. The case is there's a demand of some kind for these videos. And that's what all these guys that are saying, I hate Let's Plays. They shouldn't be around. Like Asa, he doesn't like Let's Plays. He doesn't think they should be around. He thinks they're lazy. But I don't agree with him. I think they should be around. Maybe, they're great for like walkthrough purposes. Like if you're stuck in a game, I can go look at a Let's Play and I can learn something. Some people like to listen to the Let's Player talk. It's not up to him or me or anyone else to decide what everybody wants to see. We should all just enjoy what we want to see. If there's a demand for it, it's going to be up there. And that's the other thing. If YouTube does get too... And the whole thing is that the way to make a video... When they limit these things that are protected under fair use, and they say, well, we don't care if it's fair use, we're just not going to let you do it, it takes away our options. It takes away that little bit more of our creativity. And then it goes and they take a little bit more away down the road. A little bit more, a little bit more. And then it's just, everything starts to look the same. And nobody wants to watch it. And the site just becomes a shell of its former self. So people start moving on to other sites. And what happens when people move on to other sites? They get bigger and better. Right now, there's no competition for YouTube. No real competition. But that doesn't mean in 5 years there won't be. If other sites are offering a better deal and everyone starts jumping ship. I remember the MySpace days. If you guys remember that, everybody was on MySpace. Everybody had a MySpace account. MySpace this, MySpace that. Everybody was on MySpace. MySpace started to suck little by little. Everyone said, I'm sick of MySpace. You guys need to talk to me. I don't know how many friends I saw us do that. I'll be on Facebook. So people started going, and Facebook started out as a tiny site. I got a Facebook account like a year and a half before I ever really used it. I was like, I hate Facebook. This is terrible. I said, I like MySpace. It's comfortable. I know how to use it. I like it. I wouldn't use a Facebook at first, but then gradually, MySpace started to just get more and more of a pain, and all of my friends were leaving. Everybody was leaving that I talked to. They were going to Facebook, so eventually I said, well, bye-bye MySpace, and I went to Facebook. And that's what's going to end up happening with YouTube. If it keeps going this direction, if it takes away too much from the people, eventually all these people that are on YouTube are going to eventually start jumping ship and going elsewhere, shutting down their site, whatever, or shutting down their channel, going to other places to do their channel. And the fans are going to start saying, well, I'm not going to watch as much. Then they're going to start everyone will realize that all this stuff is somewhere else. And it may turn the same thing. Facebook may turn into another MySpace, and another media, social media site may pop up. Same thing with the next version of YouTube, in 15 years or whatever, however long it takes. People are going to constantly move, unless the only thing is if they stay true to their roots. Does a site that becomes popular because of certain things, when they take those certain things away, it becomes less of something people want to see. Here's an example. A lot of you guys don't know. I worked at Domino's Pizza for 11 years, and I worked for corporate, and I worked in Las Vegas. Now, when I started in 1998, the company was great. Everybody that worked there had worked there for years. Managers were making such good money. They had a profit sharing program where managers made 20% of the profits. Some managers were making $100,000 a year. And for fast food, that is awesome. They have a base pay of about $28,000, $30,000, and then they would get profits every month. They would get 13 periods in a year, and every period they would get a bonus check. So you're talking, like I used to see some of them there. I hear some of them were like $6,000 every period. I know the manager I worked for made really good money. She had a house in the nice part of town, a place called Summerlin in Las Vegas. She had a house that was worth like $400,000, and this was like 15 years ago. And she had a nice $30,000 car. SUV. She had like a Mercury Mountaineer back then. I think those were real expensive back in the 90s. And then she had something else. She had like she always had like really nice, expensive like SUVs. And she didn't have any money problem. She was doing pretty well. And a lot of the other managers were too. Well, Domino's got bought out. Tom Monahan, the founder of the company, who everybody loved, everybody talks about with so much admiration and love, the people that were there for years and worked for him. He made the company great. Well, it was bought out by a corporation and became a corporate entity. And it just kept getting worse. They started just taking things away. They take away this recommendation program where you get a $50 Sears gift card. If you recommended a new employee, they took that away. They just started taking everything away. It was like they took away the profit sharing for a while. Managers were quitting. Nobody couldn't keep a manager. Before, they'd keep managers for years. Now they couldn't keep anybody. And only a few held on. My boss, she actually held on. She still works for the company. She's not a manager. She works in training. So she travels around the country doing really cool training stuff. She's also, she's starting to get older, and, her son just graduated high school, and he's going to college. I remember he was 2 years old running around. And, it's just amazing. And, but that's the thing. People weren't staying. The company was just started getting worse. They have all these times they want you to get the pizza out, get it delivered, all this stuff. And they kept getting ridiculous and unrealistic with those times, and nobody can keep up. And that's what happens when you take away the core of a company. And that's what it becomes. And that's what's going to happen if YouTube just keeps taking away. Because these people, you know, I think some of these content providers are getting they're acting entitled, but they need to learn to it. They do need to learn to adapt, but at the same time, they should speak up, because eventually, what's going to happen is that if YouTube keeps taking away and changing things to the point where no one's happy, YouTube's going to be the one that suffers, and everybody else is going to jump ship and go somewhere else, and then that's going to be the new Facebook of videos. That's what's going to end up happening. And it always happens. This is what always happens. You know, before Walmart showed up, where did your parents shop? Where did you shop when you know, back in those days? We went to Kmart. Where do you find Kmarts now? In my area, we don't have one. We got a Walmart, we got a Target, but no Kmarts, no more Montgomery Wards. Not Montgomery Wards, but Mervyn's. That's what it was, I think. Anyway, but you know, these companies are closing down because somebody else came up and did it better, or did it the same way people wanted. And it's like anything. If you don't do what the people want, the masses, they will go somewhere there where it will. People just want what they want. So yeah, in a way, these guys are complaining and whining, but in a way they're right, and in a way they're wrong, and that's basically what it all boils down to. The fact is, YouTube can do what it wants. It's its own company, and there's nothing anybody can really do about it. But we can try. We can try to make them listen, appeal to their sense of business. Hopefully their sense of morality, but it seems like a lot of times they don't really have it. And because they start to become this entity as opposed to a group of people running a company. So, but that's pretty much it. I guess I don't really need to say anymore. I think I got my point across. It sucks, but at the same time, you know, maybe we'll get something better in the long run down the road after we go through this rough patch. Maybe it'll all go away. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen in the future. So let's just take it one day at a time and just keep trying to change YouTube's mind. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. That's it for today. So I'm going to have the rest of my days going to be good. I've been playing a lot of Demon's Souls lately, and I got some repros I need to work on and play some Demon's Souls and spend some time with my family. My daughter comes over tonight, so we're making Christmas cookies, and the kids are gonna decorate Christmas cookies. They did it last week, and they helped me gain 3 pounds. These time of year I just get fatter, so I need to really watch it. So, but anyway. That's it for today. So, my name's Jason, and this is Video Game Corner, and let's all just keep fighting the good fight. All right? Thanks.